Welcome back to another chapter in the Beard Zero saga. Thanks for tuning in today. So today, outside, the weather is extremely nasty. It's only about 27 degrees, and it's mixed in with rain and sleet and just completely not conducive to going out fishing today. So today I decided to stay in the workshop and work on some more baits. Well, over the last few weeks I've been throwing around a few ideas in my head based off of some inspiration I got from a Christmas gift from my wife's mother. For Christmas, she gave me a Kraken Guard deodorant holder from Old Spice. And immediately I looked at it and I said, man, this thing is awesome. It's incredible. I want to make this into a bait. So today's episode is going to turn into like an Old Spice tribute. However, this is going to be one of the most difficult baits that I've ever had to make. So, due to the fact that it's super cold outside and it's only about 41 degrees in my shop right now, and the length of time this is going to take, I'm going to go ahead and just film this episode as like a time lapse, just so you can see the process involved with doing this. So, without any further delay, let's get to it. And I am back for another fun-filled commentary. So, to get started making any baits, first got to heat up your plastic. So I got a cup of fresh plastisol there. It's going in the microwave. I'm going to start off with 5 minutes. But I'm not going to waste your time making you watch the microwave, so we'll skip that. Now, at several points during this heating process, I take it out and I have to stir it to make sure that it heats evenly through and doesn't get hot spots in it, because it can cause scorching and that will just make it useless. This type of plastic that I use is very sensitive to temperature. You have to get it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Otherwise, it will not cure. But if you're going to use it as a remelt, you don't have to get it to 350 degrees. You just have to remelt it to where it is the right consistency to use for your bait making purposes. And I do the heating process kind of slowly so I don't damage the plastic by scorching it. Get a quick temperature check on it. Now, after a minute or two, the bubbles that are in it rise to the surface, so I just kind of scrape those right over to the edge and get rid of them. And then we're going to start adding some color. I love this part, especially this blue. Just looks like the ocean. Okay, but it's not quite right. I need to change it a little bit to match the blue a little better. So I added a little bit of white in there. Get it nice and stirred up good. Okay, after a few tests, it's good to go. I'm ready to start dipping baits. I usually do about 3 at a time with this size cup. I have a 2-cup measuring cup there. And it's kind of like making candles. I dip it in the plastic to get a layer of plastic on it, and then I raise it up to be able to let it cool and firm up, and then I dip it again to make another layer and increase its thickness. And the number of dips all really just depends on the temperature. The hotter the plastic is, it doesn't stick as well, so it doesn't layer as well. If it cools off a little bit, it's a little bit better and it layers a lot faster, so I don't have to dip it as many times. But like I said, it all depends. Nothing's ever simple, is it? So once we get it through a couple good dips, it'll be time to start swirling them, I call it. So once I take them out of the plastic, I keep them spinning around so that way they don't have any runs in them and it dries and cures nice and uniform and doesn't have wobbly patches and what have you. So I'm doing another run of them. And again, getting ready to finish there, just starting to turn it. About as soon as it stops dripping is about the time that I just keep turning it a little bit, but I can remove it from the cup. Keep turning it, keep turning it, keep turning it. Okay, my favorite part. I get to make a mess. You'll see what this is for later. There is method to my madness. That's just so cool to do that. Okay, now I need some more. So I just heated up some more plastic. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of brown to it to make like a tan color. And then I'm going to pour some out as well. But I'm not going to pour the whole cup out. I'm going to save it because I got to add some more to it. Lots and lots of brown. Lots and lots. Again, you'll see the purpose of all this. It'll come together nicely here in just a few minutes. It kind of looks like I'm working with chocolate, but I assure you, you don't want to try eating this. It won't taste very nice and it will definitely burn on the way down. So now I went inside to work for every bit of what I could do inside where it was warm. And again, I wasn't recording any audio for it because I was inside with my family and they're watching movies and whatnot. And I didn't want to disturb them while I was making my baits. So eye selection. I had to match up each pair of eyes and I hand selected each set of eyes that I was going to use out of that pack that I bought. And that pack I bought specifically for this lure make. I got these eyes specifically to be able to do the Kraken guard. So you can see where this process is just really getting time consuming to hand place everything. And you'll see it only gets more intensive from here. This is the easy part. Those are really cool looking eyes. Okay, so paper plate. We're going to cut the edges off of it. And this is what I'm going to use to make my template. A template for what? You'll see here shortly. Now, I never thought of myself as being very artistic. I was never one for drawing. I was never one for painting, not playing any instruments, nothing really of any artistic nature until this, till lure making. I don't know what it is about it, but the creative side of me comes out, especially with this type of lure. The deadfall shad, like I said in a previous video, it's like a blank canvas. I can do just about anything I want on there, to include 3D objects, which you'll see. So now I'm kind of doing the nose piece there, touching up on the sail a little bit. So now another tedious part, I have to cut all of these out. I'm going to spare you a lot of that and just skip right to the end. But just so you can kind of see all the work that goes into making these lures. The other ones that I make, like the shad pattern, the baby rock bass, baby bass, those type of patterns, those are fairly easy and not this complex. This is a fairly intricate design, and it was, like I said, my most difficult one I'd ever tried to date. So now I'm going to cut out the pieces of plastic I'm going to use for the sails and start to place them. Now this is just an initial placing. I'm not going to firmly attach them at this point in time because I'm still going to move them around as I need to be able to fit everything in there. It's funny how I never realized how much time was really going by while I was doing this. I just got so involved with making these lures. And now for the chocolate plastic to be able to make the boat portion. I already made the sail. Now I just got to put the boat on there. Again, adjusting the placement a little bit just to make everything fit kind of snug and tight and look good. Now it's time to cut out the nose piece and the tentacles. And because the nose isn't like a solid nose piece, it's more like a series of tentacles that are like short in the place that a nose would be. I had to put some splits in there to kind of make it look like the different tentacles coming off. Trying to get it to stick pretty good so it won't come off when it goes in for the clear dip. Now the tentacles is where I started to have some issues. They just didn't really want to stick that well. I was getting too many layers built up of plastic. But I was able to improvise around it and figure a way out. Yeah, it just doesn't want to stick, doesn't want to stick, wants to keep springing off. Okay, so I got them all most of the way done. Now we're just going to add some texturing to it with some fine pigment powders and a little bit more coarse fleck that I'll put on it as well here in just a minute. And again, it's just to add some texturing, just like the statue has. The statue has texturing all over it, but I'm just going to put some texturing on top of the head here, and then some on the sails. And I'm going to use the larger fleck here to be able to simulate the holes in the sail, as well as add more texture to the top of the head and on the nose later. Now it's time to do a first clear dip. This was so I'd be able to get the tentacles to stick. So before I put the tentacles on, I went ahead and did one layer of clear dip to seal in the sail in the boat and all the texturing that I put on already. So this is what they look like right before they got the tentacles on them. Okay, so we're all done. And wow, it's extensive, the work that goes into doing these. And I had to change up a little bit and improv because I could only get one of the tentacles on there because of the limitation of the plastic. It just wants to keep springing off of it. And there's no way for me that I've found to glue it down or hold it in place. So other than that, I think all in all, even with the improv, they turned out pretty well. And they somewhat resemble the Kraken Guard statue. So special thank you to Old Spice, and I just want to say and ask them that they never ever stop producing Kraken Guard. Thank you, I appreciate it. Other than that, I'm getting tired for the night. This took a lot, so it's about time for me to weigh anchor and set sail for my shower and my warm bed. Thank you so much for watching.